Hello, apologies for the long wait. Oh, the music's still on. Hello, apologies for the long wait there. I had a headache and I thought I could do it during the countdown, and then I realised I couldn't. So I managed to find some tablets, took them, came back up, saw the countdown had been going on for over 4 minutes, and I'm like, blinker, what a fool. But oh well, I'm here now. Big ups to This Is City in the chat. Yes, he says. Big ups to you. Now then, City transfer news, it's safe to say, has been rather quiet. Sorry, I'm opening a window. I'm surprised I haven't already got this open. It's absolutely roasting in the UK, or at least where I am. My worry is I can't think of a single example of a City player who's gone out on loan and come back and made it. Yeah, I mean, it's so quiet. Yeah, I know, the news is it's just flat. It genuinely is flat. You know, Echeverri, he's looking like I'm going on loan, but the only player that comes to mind for me is Zinchenko. Am I wrong in thinking Zinchenko went on loan? But even then, did he really make it? He was in the team for a bit, and he was always solid, you know, he was always decent, but, like, he was never, like, you know, he was never, like, world beater or anything like that. Because I believe he went on loan. 22 degrees in Manchester, 33 on Saturday. Huge. But, yeah, Zinchenko's probably the only example, but, like, that's really it. He's the closest it gets to my memory. You know, if we have a look, you know, it's great business from City when you think about this transfer. 2 million we signed for, and we sold him for 35. You know, it was a great deal, and at Arsenal, he never really made it. Had a decent patch, but never really quite did the business. But he was at City for a bit, Zinchenko. But long story short, we decided it was best for him to go. Zinchenko wanted football elsewhere, so we let him go to Arsenal. Now then, let's go straight over to Twitter, shall we? And have a look at the latest. Go over to here. I'd be fine with him going on loan, but it's just a track record that worries me with City and loans. Yeah, they just tend to be like business plans, really, loan moves for City. That tends to be the case with a City loan move. You know, it's just signing a player quite cheap, loaning them out for a bit, and then they'll do decent there, and then they'll sell them for like 25, 30 million compared to like 10 million we may have signed them for, and then that's a profit. You know, that's typically something we've done. We've done it with Perone, and you know, I am hoping that it's not the case with Echeverri because he looks bright. He looks really, really bright. Our away shirt looking fresh, looking wonderful. I don't think the lighting is doing it much justice. I think when you actually see this in like the adverts and whatnot, I think the lighting is going to be a lot better and it will pop out a bit more as black. But I'm happy with it, and I've got a soft spot for a collar. I won't lie. I do like a soft spot and do like a collar. Claudio Echeverri was wanted by Lyon until their relegation and the relegation to League Two and financial issues. It's really a toss-up. Very nice away kit. Can we have a white kit next year too? Yeah, I'd like that. At the moment, it's looking like he could go to Girona, but hey, who knows? With Lyon actually managing to remain in League One, maybe they'll go back in for him, and maybe that'll be done. You know, because apparently there was a 1-year loan deal secured. Okay, according to these guys. But will he still go there with the issues there? Don't really know. Crystal Palace Karma. Yeah, they're going to be in Conference League, aren't they? Yes, they are. A nice signing there for the ladies' team, I think. I don't know if she's good or not, to be honest. 30 days until Sissy are back. Yeah, we've got that pre-season friendly coming up, don't we? So that's going to be right like a week before the season starts. Now then, this was Craig Hope on Sissy's chances on signing Newcastle's right back. I've changed my mind. By the way, I'd want Rodrigo. Now I've thought of it. Oh, go on. Let's hear it. But look on Craig Hope saying, no, Man City interest is genuine and it remains. My sources say City say they'd go at least £65 million for the defender. The word on the Tyneside, not to even 165 million would be enough. Newcastle and Livramento is as good as Newcastle know Livramento is as good as irreplaceable given his age, profile, versatility, and not to mention his ability and huge scope for improvement. There is also a feeling young players like Livramento and those who know their best under. The best off under Eddie Howe's tutelage at this stage in their career. I mean, I'm not surprised, you know. I'm not surprised that Livramento and Newcastle aren't willing to let go of Livramento. Livramento's not really in a rush to leave. This is not surprising for me. You know, it was always a difficult transfer. That much was clear from the get-go. You know, Fabrizio said that negotiations are tough, but City are going to try anyway. It was always a tough one, and this is seemingly telling us that it's not going to happen. But yeah, Newcastle know that Livramento's irreplaceable. And yeah, it's not a surprise. Interesting, but Craig Hope is a Newcastle PR machine. True, you know, I personally think, yo, Steve Black, welcome to the chat, by the way. Yo, Elijah, you too as well. Big ups to you too. Me personally, £165 million, Newcastle would take that. You know, let's be real here. Newcastle are taking 165 million quid. They are absolutely taking that. You know, I don't know who Craig Hope is trying to mess with there, but there is no chance we are bidding 165 million quid. I'd be so shocked on that. I think the highest we'd go, an absolute push, is 100 mil. If that, all right. I'm thinking like 100 mil with all the add-ons, with all the little bits in the deal to make it happen. You know, I don't think we'd go higher. Let's laugh at Arsenal, Madueke. Yeah, another Chelsea player going there. 50 mil on Madueke, interesting. How much did Chelsea sign him for? $35 million. They've made a profit off of him. Oh, okay. But yeah, Livramento was always a bleak transfer. It could still happen. There was a lot of time to talk with Newcastle, and there's a lot of time for Newcastle to still go out and sign that replacement. But it's a tough one. It's going to be a tough one because, like he says, someone in the comments said, that's their right back for the next 10 years. You know, Trippier ain't got long left at this level. Okay, he's probably got this season / to the end of his contract with Newcastle. I doubt he's going to get an extension. Elijah, that's going to be rejected too. It's going to be more like 70 million. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. I'll just have a quick look at Fabrizio's latest feed. Alanga to Newcastle, not a bad deal. Setback in training for Trent. Unlucky. Hugo Ekitike could be on the way to the Premier League. Could go to Newcastle. Probably not a bad choice, to be honest, especially if they lose Isaac. What? Man. Chelsea are crazy, man. And the fact that they're probably going to get that as well. 55 million quid is probably roughly what it's going to look like for Madueke. For a player that didn't exactly set the world on fire, I don't really think he's come to the Premier League and has made the world his oyster. You know, like at Chelsea, in just 92 games, he's gotten 20 goals, 9 assists. He's not only hit 30 goal contributions for them, and they're making a sizable profit. They signed him for 35 million euros. If they're gonna, that's probably about 30 million quid. If Arsenal are about to spend 55 million quid on him, roughly, they're making it back. They're almost making double what they spent. That is crazy, in my opinion. Glimpse, what do you think to that? Welcome to the stream. Big ups to everyone tuning in, by the way. Make sure to hit the likes. Every like is huge. Welcome to the stream, Glimpse. What do you think to that? Madueke for 55 million quid. And that could very well still get rejected. Possibly. Alright, they're looking for about an Alanga deal, and that is 55 million quid. Chelsea make the most profit in the league. I'm not surprised when they're pulling off deals like this. This is crazy, man. I wonder whoever Chelsea have got on their like transfer team to come in and be our negotiator for outgoings. Because holy moly, they just I don't know how they're making back almost double their money for Madueke. They signed him for about 30 million quid. Now we do, don't we? I mean, look at us, man. Like Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, man, he's looking to he's looking to be on the way. On the way to going on loan. What's crazy evaluation for Gyökeres is only 5 mil short. They put 50 mil for Madueke. I swear we are second in the world to Madrid. There is that, but that part, I get that, yeah. But that does partly come from like our academy sales. Okay, don't get me wrong, general player sales too. Like Julian Alvarez must have sent us upwards. I definitely don't want the guys that sign the players, just the guys that help get rid of them. If you get me, just like give a couple pointers, because like Jack Grealish, man, he's on the way out, but he's going on loan. You know, I know it's a bit different because Jack Grealish got mad wages and whatnot. So I do understand that's a little different, but I just don't get how Chelsea are making double what they bought him for. You know, maybe it's because he's a Premier League player going to a rival in a sense, but man, that is crazy in my opinion. Same with Villa. Villa were about to break it. And then they sold the women's teams themselves, basically. My bad. You make the most profit, but we're the highest earners overall. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that we make the most profit because of how many academy players we sell. And not just how many academy players we sell. Also, we got a fake It's LB in here. Big ups to you, It's LB. Again, you've made me lose my trail of thought. That just took me by surprise. Unless it's an old account that I don't know about, I'd be surprised. This account got made 4 months ago. Welcome to the stream pool. Yeah, this doesn't really surprise me considering like the amount of academy players we sell, but not just that, the amount we bring in on selling clauses as well. Like Liam Delap, for example. We sold him for like 20 million. And then Chelsea bought him for like 30 million. All right, and then I think we got like 10% of that or something like that. So we made 23 million total off that transfer. Big ups to Paul and XLB in the stream. Big ups to you guys. That is not it. That is not LB. Yes, I'm. Yeah, that's not LB. I'd be super shocked if that is LB. Chelsea made 100 million from the Club World Cup already. Mental, Genuinely, like, I'm not super bothered about leaving the Club World Cup. It was mainly just how we did it for me, because it's a glorified preseason with just a big cash prize, really, isn't it? And to be fair, that is worth it. Like the amount of money you're getting is crazy. But like you said, you're in the final, and you've made 100 mil. That is the lap well and truly paid for. That's Joao Pedro probably paid for as well. You're reeling in the money for it. No one can. You can't knock any team for going in it with the amount of money on the table. But look, Madueke, man, I don't know. I don't know how Chelsea have done it. Fair play. That's just bonkers to me. Kudos to Tottenham. Here we go. How much is that? 55 million quid. And keep going. And then we'll go back over to City Extra now. So then where do we go? That's Haaland on holiday. Everton have a number of ambitious targets this summer, including a 25 million move for Mcatee being considered. The midfielder has also had interest from Bundesliga, but David Moyes is a big admirer, and there has been dialogue with City. Well, I mean, that would be quite nice for Mcatee to stay in England and whatnot. But for me, if I was him, I'd probably go to Germany. I would go to Germany and develop elsewhere. England players, a lot of players do go to Germany and do tend to do quite well. Like Sancho, Gittins, Bellingham, I guess maybe even Joe Bellingham now. And maybe Mcatee should go there. But hey, if he wants to stay in the Premier League and give it a proper go for it, man. Mon Gibbs White personal terms agreed back in March. By the way, back up for Saka. Neto being cooking in Club World Cup. Yeah, he's not been doing too bad, to be fair, from what I've seen. Yeah, we agreed personal terms for this guy ages ago. It would have been like that. Gibbs White was never saying no to us, to be fair. So Gibbs White agreeing for personal terms isn't really much of a bomb for us, I wouldn't say. We do need to get some transfer news going. The guy was desperate for City though, but Pep changed to Shirky when the chance came. It just made sense to go for Shirky. Overall, the season he had was brilliant. The price was brilliant. Everything about the Shirky deal was just a thumbs up. Everything about it was just yes. But yeah, we've really got a saga incoming if we do intend to go all in on Livramento. For me, I would go for Livramento anyway, because I genuinely think Craig Hope is probably just like you said, it's probably PR. He's probably trying to steer interest away a little bit and bring the hype down a smidge. I don't think. Newcastle not taking £165 million is insane. They would. They absolutely would. Yes, FIFA, welcome to the stream. Big ups to you. How you doing? But yeah, Newcastle would take 165 mil for this guy. That is just a stone-faced eye from Craig Hope. Because the amount of reinvesting you could do with that is bonkers. Keep all. Big ups to you, FIFA. It's looking like Echeverri is going to go on loan anyway. I would like to keep him. I'm on that boat. Personally, I think Mcatee is just not quite there. It's in his best interest to get moving to another club. Moody Caballero signed in 2014. I quite like them. Finley Burns joined Reading. Yeah, 32 days until, this was 2 days ago, so 30 days until we compete to become the Anglo-Palmerton Trophy champions of the world. We'll take it. I'd have kept Walker for another year. Crazy in my opinion, but fair enough. Big up to 12 people in the stream. Alfred, huge thank you to Alf. Is Gyökeres going to Arsenal? Sorry to change the sorry to change the subject. Can't speak, Alf. Sorry to change the subject here, but thoughts on Gibbs White going to City. Where's this started coming from again? Because Elijah said this earlier. Has this come up somewhere and I just haven't seen it? Because it's not on City Extra. Have I missed this? How's it crazy? Because man, the season he was having last season was poor. Gibbs White is bad. I mean, I'm not saying Gibbs White is fantastic, but I'm definitely saying that Kyle Walker needed to go. Sitter. Allegedly, we've agreed personal terms with him. Okay, same with Football Insider. He could play centre back. We have 7 of them. We have 7 centre backs. Akanji, Vardio, Ake, Diaz, Stones, Hayes, and Kusanov. We have 7. We don't need another. We did not need the 8th being Kyle Walker, which is why it was perfect for him to go. It was the right time. In fact, the right time probably would have been last season. This was the moment that he needed to go. Walker will be terrible for Burnley, in my opinion. I just think he's going to get cooked. They're going to be a bit more defensive, which I think will suit him better. It depends as well. If he's playing right centre-back, then he might be a bit more solid because he won't be going out as far forward. So I do think he's going to be better at Burnley than he would be for City, but I think he's going to get cooked. Yeah, we agreed personal terms with him a while ago. This is not new news to my knowledge. It doesn't shock me, especially because Gibbs White, why wouldn't he want to come here? No offense, I'm sure he'd love to come here. Think heck, just seeing how much money they made there. I'm just gonna scroll through my old here. Fabrizio Romano 9 weeks ago, the 4th of May. No issues are expected on personal terms, but work to do with Nottingham Forest. There was no issues. Personal terms were basically there. Burnley being defensive would be the reason they finished 20th. City went for Shirky instead, I'm sure. I saw a report saying that ages ago. It was either Shirky or Gibbs White, and we decided to go for Shirky. And deal came off because Shirky, thank goodness. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I always thought Gibbs White was a solid player, but it was never a KDB replacement. Neither Shirky. You can't replace Kevin De Bruyne. Talent like that is just irreplaceable. But you can get close. You can get as close as you can, and I think Gibbs White would have been a while off. I don't mind it being in the team, but as a squad player or as an 8, never the 10. Not for me. Yeah, but we'll go back over here now. Our first 3 games of the Premier League are going to be televised, which is great. Well, these 2 are. Definitely. Oh, wait, no. All 3 of them. Let's go. So 5:30 for the Wolves game on the 16th, then 12:30 for the Tottenham game on the 23rd of August, and then on the 31st of August, just before deadline day, it's 2 p.m. So there you go. That's our times. All televised. You can replace him. You can't truly, though. So Barcelona, I know they got Lamine Yamal, but they didn't replace Messi in a year. You can't replace him just like that. 12:30 against Spurs stinks, yeah. I can't agree with that. 12:30 kickoffs always stink. I take Gibbs White in our midfield somewhere, but I think he'd bring something we don't have, but not for 18 plus mil. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can. I mean, if you don't get me wrong, if Shirky genuinely, we already have his replacement. I mean, if we're thinking Shirky or Phil Foden, they're very different players. You know, especially Foden. Foden is very different from KDB. I doubt he'll be more than 60. I mean, we definitely. I'm sorry, if we're losing Gonzalez, yeah. If we're losing Nico, then we need someone in that midfield. FIFA, do you prefer Shirky or Mcatee? Good question, that. Foden and De Bruyne are not the same. Foden's more of a goal scorer, and KDB evidently is more of a creator. Foden can create, but if you're tipping it one way, Kevin De Bruyne is a creator, and Phil Foden is a goal scorer. Forest are asking for 80 plus million. Reports are saying 100. I know it was saying. I know I definitely saw 80 somewhere. Mcatee clear. That's crazy. That's crazy, in my opinion. Anyway, that is bonkers for me. But hey, fair enough. True, he makes a good point. You know, that was still when UCL was properly on the line. I think 60 million can be done. And if we're losing Nico Gonzalez, he was ready for PSG Real Madrid. Yeah, I'm excited for that game. I'm excited for that. Gibbs like 60 mil. JM is Mcatee. James Mcatee. Type Gibbs White on CX. Mcatee miles better. Why is that? Like, why do we think that Mcatee is miles better? To be fair, the source was TalkSport, and it was back in April when they were on Census Walking. Says far to dear. First report. You can go to latest. All right. Sorry, I'm not. Latest. There we go. Bingo. Considered too expensive. I mean, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He plays better than just a better player. I don't know, FIFA, man. I really don't know. Yeah. Key thing as well, FIFA. If he's not going to sign an extension, then he's got to go as well. You can agree with that. If he refuses to sign an extension, then we got to make the money. So I just don't want Gibbs White. That's just not priority at all. I think if we lose Nico, which to be fair, recent reports are suggesting that we won't lose Nico. But if we lose Nico, then you'd sign for 4 billion. Big heck. 4 bill. I mean, seriously? Arsenal are gonna get both Gyökeres and Madueke then. I'd rather go 100 mil for Tino than pay anything for Gibbs White as it stands. Yeah, you know, if we lose Nico Gonzalez, then I definitely entertain the possibility of bringing in Gibbs White. But right now, nah. We need a right back. Yeah, nothing less. Even with 1 year on his deal. Let's go over here. Oh, Savino on a horse. Thank you, City Extra. I needed this. Yeah, to be fair, recent reports have suggested that Nico Gonzalez is staying. There's the report on Claudio Echeverri to Lyon. Again, it does just worry me that he may not be a part of the long-term plans. And Vital Hayes, if we loan him out, it's a joke of a signing, man. If we loan Vital Hayes out, it's an absolute joke. We signed him in January because we really wanted him in before the summer. Okay, we even paid a little bit extra. Played him in like 2 games. And now, we're potentially looking to loan him out. That's crazy. We need Gibbs White as either Gundo or Cole are off. Nico G will just replace Gundo role, in my opinion, gets Gundo minutes. We have Cafoons, Akanji, Stones, Lewis. Well, Lyon won't get relegated. Gundo, Maka, off place for homegrown. Yeah. Keep going down here. I think we've seen everything really. Breaking. Yeah, saw that. And yeah, we're all basically up to date here. Yeah, no effort for Dumfries. We've seen that. Signing Gibbs White does nothing in my opinion. I want to keep her on right back. Yeah, I'd rather use that money to sign a right back at least. We need a right back. James Trafford hijack it. Possibly. Yeah, we need a right back. Like, it's mandatory, man. We were looking at a left back and a right back before the Club World Cup. Like, Fabrizio said we wanted them both, and now it's just all gone dead. You know, what are we doing? It's so bad, man. We need to be moving quick. Rodrigo bench again. Gibbs White signing replace or more guys out. I mean, I think we're going to see outs and hopefully entrances, but Gundo's probably on the way out. I'd be stunned if Gibbs White signs for City this year. I can agree with that. I really do think. I don't think I'm going to get him this season. Not now. Yeah, we're well and truly caught up there. No transfer traffic to Paul. Yeah, to be fair, I had a good season at Burnley last season, but Burnley is a very different. But Championship is a very different league. Trafford is important. I watched Burnley quite a lot last year. He's matured a lot. Hashtag no need for right back. No, we need a right back, man. No way. Bring Trafford in, fight with Edison, and whoever is better comes on top. Yeah. I mean, I'm not super opposed to bringing in Trafford. You know, we've got a buyback clause of however much. So, you know, we can just go in for it and they can't stop us. Get me a right back in August. I want a right back before the season starts, man. You know? Before the season starts, I want a right back. Please. Please, man. But look, I think I'll wrap it up there. 40-minute stream, not too bad. We have loads. Well, you gotta bear in mind that we are gonna let players go. FIFA. You know, players are going to leave because the squad is already big. Alright, and then we need reinforcing in certain areas anyway, FIFA. So players are going to go, one way or the other. big ups to you, Herbal. But look, I am going to wrap it up now. Big ups to everyone who tuned in. I will redirect this stream. Let's see what I'll redirect it to. Closest stream. Let's have a look. Redirect. You know what? Let's go to Alf. It's at 8 p.m, so we're quite early. He raided me, so I'll give him a raid. 9th of July. Is that even today? Yes, it is. So leave a like, say connect raid in the chat, because why not? But yeah, go and do that. Big up everyone, big up FIFA. Joined 42 today, I see. Yeah, no worries. We already have 4 right backs, and some of them are going to leave, more than likely. But look, big up to everyone who tuned in. Herbal, Steve Black, FIFA, This is City, Alf, Rosa, Glimpse, and everyone in between. Appreciate you all. Make sure to go drop a like on Alf's stream, and I'll make sure to see you all probably tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, definitely tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Sorry, I thought it was Friday tomorrow. I thought it would be Blue Friday show. I'll see you all tomorrow.